think about this idea of the cost of labor, is reshoring a big part of this continued rise of inflation? It seems to me that considering the cost of building new plants abroad and adding the labor, and especially the skilled labor that is difficult to find, as we just spoke about, that seems to me like a cost that is eventually going to be passed on to the consumer that will only add to this inflation of goods prices.
Yeah, I think anytime you go through a period of globalization, the whole point of globalization is find the lowest cost producer. And we've gone through like 30 or 40 years of finding the lowest cost producer very, very successfully. And so a process of deglobalization, and in particular, creating parallel supply chains in one form or another, essentially is just saying we're going to create supply where there is that is not as low cost as the supply we would otherwise choose to have. And that's not to say that it's necessarily a bad decision to do that. There's lots of, let's say, non-economic reasons to do that. From a defense perspective, a domestic resiliency perspective, et cetera, in terms of economic growth. There's also growth benefits to actually doing that. If you build factories, you put people to work, and that is absolutely beneficial in terms of when you're thinking about U.S. conditions. A big part of actually why U.S. economic conditions have been so strong has been a lot of business, non-residential fixed investment, factory building, like you're describing. And so, that's a positive growth outcome. The issue is it's also inflationary. And so that's the trade-off, is that, you can have things like onshoring, building factories, duplicating supply chains, and the benefits that come with that. It's just, you're doing so in a way that creates more price pressure. And so that's just a trade-off when you're thinking about it from a policymaker perspective between, say, for instance, geopolitical independence relative to the fact that prices might be, price growth might be 1% higher. That's a political trade-off, not a there's no sort of macroeconomic truth to that. There's just a political trade-off that exists when you're making those decisions.